Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the ALLS Sports Podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, Lachlan Turner.
And he's absolutely butchered the intro. I'm Liam McDonald, and this is not an ordinary episode of the ALLS Sports Podcast, which he reminded me. That was the one thing he said before we pressed record. Is this isn't another episode. This is a mock draft for the AFL draft, and it's a special. And he's just gone ahead and announced that it's another episode of the ALLS Sports Podcast. It's a bit amateur hour there from my mate Gaz.
Yeah, it's all right. As Les said, this is a mock draft, our mock draft, so we both have to agree on what the clubs will do. So no ridiculous picks. Oh, no, we're just going to keep Will Ashcroft to the end of the first round because it'll help Brisbane. That's not happening.
If he gets to our first pick, I'm happy.
Which, who knows, that might happen.
It's a long way down the board.
Yeah, well, he's definitely not going to be going too far away from pick one. That's a bit of a spoiler there. And, well, I mean, just for the sake of it, all the links to our socials will be in the description down below. I think, do you want to go through the first round order?
All right. So pick one, we have the Greater Western Sydney Giants.
Yep.
Picks 2 and 3 belong to the North Melbourne Kangaroos.
Yep.
Pick 4 belongs to the Essendon Bombers. Pick 5, Gold Coast Suns. Pick 6, Hawthorn Hawks. Pick 7, Geelong Cats in an absolute fleecing of the Gold Coast Suns.
Yep.
Number 8 is West Coast. Number 9 is St Kilda. 10, Carlton. 11, the Bulldogs. 12, West Coast. 13, Melbourne. 14, Sydney. 15, Greater Western Sydney. 16, Collingwood. 17, Sydney. And 18, for something new and different, Greater Western Sydney.
No, so the Giants are stacked. They've got, 3-4 first round picks?
They have 3.
3.
2 later ones and pick 1.
Yep. So look, it'll be interesting to see. I feel like the first few picks we kind of know. I'd say the first 5 picks we kind of know what's going to happen. It's just after that, it's going to be a question of will clubs do take players based on their needs and whether or not that player warrants that pick. Because I can't think of the ruckman's name, but there is a ruckman out there ready, like key forward ruck, which a few teams could use a key forward and ruckman. Giants in particular, they need a key forward. So I suppose what should we do? I reckon we should get started. So pick one.
Are we going to go for a cheeky Ashcroft bid here, or are we going to say that they're going to give their guy pick 1?
I don't think they're going to bid on Ashcroft. I think they traded up to pick 1, and it just makes no sense for a club to trade up to bid on a player because otherwise all clubs would be trying to do it, trading up to bid on a player. It's a bit ridiculous. No, well,
I'm not sure they would trade up to bid on the player. It's more, there's probably more of in their mind trying to make sure that Brisbane or whatever club actually pays the correct price for.
Exactly right. But I think one of the holes the Giants have at the moment is they lack tall forwards. They have Toby Green, but he's a medium-sized forward. He can't carry the forward line. Right, so
well, he probably could,
but he can't. It's no teams of one man. No line is like a one man line. They need some tall forwards. They put Harry Himmelberg down back, which worked to effect, but they've got no one to kick their goal.
They gutted their forward line to do it.
So, in my opinion. And you can agree with me or not, but I think the first pick of the draft will be Aaron CADMAN, the key forward out of the Rebels. I think they used to be called the North Ballarat Rebels, but it's GWV Rebels. Who's similar to Jeremy Cameron.
Greater Western Victoria or something?
Greater Western Victoria. I'm pretty sure that's what it stands for. Yes. and he's compared to Jeremy Cameron. He, like, I don't know, like you could have him up the ground like what Cameron was like, but you can also put him down because he's a good, strong mark. He'll need to put on obviously a bit of size for key forward, and let's hope. Right. First of all, are you okay with selecting this guy, or do you reckon that this is where the Giants will go?
I reckon this is what they were always going to do. This is why they traded up, was to make sure that they got this guy. So
exactly right. And I know that their new coach has got the he's been given the tick of approval by the new coach. So I think, and I'll write that down in my book for the post. Aaron CADMAN to the Giants. So well done, CADMAN. You get the $10,000 NAB, whatever they give you for being the number one pick.
Do they give a bonus for pick one, do they?
Yeah. That's why Will Ashcroft wants to go pick one.
Oh, imagine how mad you would be if the Giants then bid for Ashcroft if you're CADMAN.
As I said,
cost me 10 grand, lads.
I don't think that'll happen. And let's hope he doesn't pull a Tom Boyd and leave after 1 year for money. All right. I know people are going to be like, oh, you shouldn't have said that, but we all know that's why he left. So the second pick, and this shouldn't come to a surprise, but I think North will place a bid on Will Ashcroft, which Brisbane will obviously match. They've done the not necessarily the research, but I mean they have the draft points, but
they've done the work to get the points to match this guy.
They could be also willing to, because of all the because of their other father-son player, they can also probably afford to just go into a draft deficit. I think they're willing to take that risk in going into a draft deficit. But I mean, what more do you want me to say about this guy? He's probably the most AFL ready number one pick since probably Sam Walsh. His 3 VFL games, he absolutely tore it up. It was for Brisbane, wasn't it? They were in the VFL.
He played VFL for Brisbane, yeah.
Yeah. So I think, and look, this is a big win for Brisbane. I think for the draft points wise. So I'm going to put down Brisbane.
And yeah, because at this point, North Melbourne don't have anything to lose. If they get Ashcroft, great. If they don't, oh well.
Well, what do you mean, great? They're not going to get it.
No, but like, if for some reason Brisbane are like, you know what, nah, it's worth a punt from North Melbourne.
I mean, yeah, look, and they've had like a mixed results bidding on players as well. So that's good. Now the third pick obviously belongs to North. Now, it doesn't matter what they do with the next, with this pick, because they have next pick. But I think for the sake of picking for, based on, you know, how everything went this year, I think this forward/mid, he has got a lot of X factor about him. I think this, to me, is kind of like the Sam Walsh, Connor Rozee debate, you know, who's going to have the better career. And this one, it's going to be between Ashcroft and, let me just scroll down.
Yeah, come on,
this
man.
young man here, Harry Chazelle.
Got to be
He is an X factor. I think all up in all the games that he played, he almost kicked a combined of 50 goals.
Not bad. That is not bad.
And he's got the X factor about him. So he just, as it says there, you know, his ability to find goals is just second to none. It is really good. And, I just think, you know, this would be a good get for North, you know, to help kind of get some X factor around that forward line. Cam Zerha's not really the X factor. He's tough, but he's not there.
Cam Zerha's will run through a guy sort of X factor.
Yeah, this guy,
razzle dazzle.
I know it says Zach Bailey, but I mean, he could be the North's Toby Green. And if you can get that, you'd be quite happy. I think. I know I would be. Obviously a bit biased. I'm hoping, you know, for some reason North overlook him, because I think if he was on the board at pick 5,
Essendon take him without even thinking.
Exactly right. But that's not going to happen. Now, this is a bit interesting. Where could they go here? They've got their X factor forward mid there, as it says. They've got a lot of young mids, but I still think, it wouldn't hurt to have another one. Cunnington's coming towards the end of his career, and Jai Simpkin, he's good. Uniac, Taron Thomas, but why not add this guy, Wardlaw? Tough, he's ferocious, but they never got to see much of him because of injury.
Now, are you actually putting him here because you think North Melbourne are going to take him, or because you don't want Essendon to take him?
No, I genuinely think North will take him. It kind of suits their midfield. Like, he's the player that kind of, has the traits of what, Simpkin. Simpkin's tough, but he doesn't it's not like, he just adds a different element. They were saying that he was the second best prospect behind Ashcroft. But I think the only concern for me, if he does slip past North, is his injury. So I've got Wardlaw going to the Roos, which I think North would be pretty happy with that. Now, pick 5. Now, this pick, I know every year it just seems to be Essendon, other team that seems to shape the draft, whatever happens. Now, this particular player, he got criticised in his draft interview for being pretty confident, right? Because he said something like, he was asked, who would you take at pick 1 this year? And I don't know the exact quote, but he's like, I'd take me, like myself, because, if you don't think to be the best, if you don't have the, mindset of being the best, then, what are you doing? And I think that's a good mindset. Now,
Hey, fair enough.
And he was honest in his draft interviews. He has embraced. Now, the thing with all this, taking up all the drafts, right, like over the years, the go-home factor's big. Now, I know it's an 18-year-old kid that said this, but he is salvarizing the fact that he could be playing interstate. He's embracing it. And he says he wants to be a one-club player as well. So, and the fact that this guy has got like Bontempelli-like traits, and he suits a need for the Bombers. Now, I know the Bombers have got a lot of midfielders, but none of them to the extent of, let me just keep scrolling.
Yeah, you really like this whole scrolling thing. Well, you've gone too far.
No.
Wait, have you gone too far?
No, I haven't gone too far at all. This screams like Bontempelli in his draft year.
Oh, right.
This
Yeah.
kid right here. Bontempelli, I don't think was in the calculations to be top 5 until very late. He was kind of a top 5 bolter. And this guy he has Bontempelli traits about him. Now, he needs to improve on his kicking, but I'm willing to this guy could play football very early in the season, I think. And as I said, he suits the Bombers' needs. He is a tall midfielder. What have Essendon been crying out for? Some size around the
Essendon and you very vocally.
Yeah, they've been crying for some size around the ball. Now, look, they'll probably give Perkins a bit of time. Setterfield will get time in the middle. This guy will probably have to bide his time, maybe as an outside wing, like as a wingman at first. But in a couple of years' time, he could be in the guts, in there with Perkins and, another smaller type of player. So, and I feel like that's a good balance there. Now,
what about Elijah, mate?
Elijah
Sartas, the name that you...
Yeah, I know that I'm struggling to... I've got no issues with that, but I just think when there's a player that, you kind of just salvise at the fact of what he could be, I just think this guy, like Giselle, this guy probably has the most potential out of anybody in this draft. Chazelle has kind of hit like his potential, like he's that. This guy has scratched the surface of what he can do. I'm hoping the Bombers, and I think they are willing to take the risk and see what this guy can become. Now, what does that do for a few players on the Bombers midfield stuff? You know, Caldwell, Hobbs, you know, who'll get the goal out of those two? Because you look, those guys are young, but yeah, look, and plus the Elijah, I can't even say his name. I'll just call him Elijah. Elijah, he's had a few injuries this season as well, and Essendon and injuries just
don't mix.
They don't seem to do too well. So
you're having Kavanagh flashbacks, are you?
Kavanagh flashbacks, yes. And so I'm going to put down this guy. Are you happy with that? At number...
I don't know. I mean, this might be the most ideal pick for them, but I reckon that they'll... It's a question of best player available or the better fit. And
yeah,
I feel like
if we're going
this
guy
is better fit, but
this guy's a better
might
fit.
be best available.
Sorry, just give me one moment. I need to get a pen because this one's run out. I can't believe that's happened here.
Professionalism, Lockie, unbelievable.
So, but are we in agreement that this is the guy that, if it was to come down between Elijah and this kid, that this guy will be...
Look, this guy is probably the better pick for them. It's just whether or not that they...
Yeah, so, and then after that, you know, we could even, you know, and then after this, you know, we'll go, you know, ask some more, you know, draft questions or like, you know, just questions that are going to be raised. You know, and Essendon's going to be, they're an interesting club. You know, they could walk away as big winners from this draft. I know I've said this every year, but they genuinely could be one of the bigger winners. And we'll get into why at the end when we've done all the first round, sorry. Not all six.
So we've gone MATTAES, pick 4 to the Bombers?
Yep. Or pick 5 now.
Oh, yeah, right, because of the...
Yep. So who was after Essendon?
Next pick, Gold Coast.
See, now they're interesting, right? They've recently lost
Rankin.
So
they need a bit of X factor.
They could use a bit of X factor, or they could, you know, maybe continue.
Just add another gun midfielder.
Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, Elijah, what's his name?
You're probably thinking, I think.
You're probably thinking Elijah, where is he again?
He's up one more. He's the next one. But you also have to think go home factor with Gold Coast.
Exactly right. But they've got a similar player like him in Matt Rao.
And Noah Anderson's pretty handy as well.
Yeah, but Noah Anderson's a bit of an outside player. So, in my opinion, and this could hurt Hawthorn, if the Suns go for a midfield forward option, which is exactly what Isaac Rankin was. So I think Gold Coast pass on Elijah and take Bailey Humphrey.
Ooh.
So, I mean, as it says there, Isaac Heaney. Rankin kind of has similar Heaney things. Like, he can play in the midfield, but he can also play forward. He wouldn't be a bad replacement. He's
and a bit of leadership wouldn't hurt. He's skipping his side to a grand final appearance.
Exactly right. So I feel like, but I feel like this could be, you know, this would be good for Gold Coast. You know, they replace the guy that they lost. Yes, go home factor, but we can't take that into consideration because otherwise it'd be a compromised draft. So I feel like this guy, since he's returned from injury, he's just been skyrocketing. So, like, would you like?
I like this shout. I like this. This is bold. This is out there. I like it.
You like it? Okay, well, so we'll go Bailey Humphrey at number 6. Now Hawthorn at number 7.
Well,
right?
surely Hawthorn, considering they just traded away their entire midfield, jump up and go, hell yeah, we'll take Elijah.
And guess what? Just
That's
give me
what
one
we're
moment.
doing.
I'm writing it down.
That's what we're doing. Elijah,
That's exactly what we're
question
doing.
it. They just go, thank you very much,
This
mate.
is a big win for Hawthorn because this kid was a Hawthorn supporter growing up. He was a Hawthorn supporter growing up. Now, after a few years, he will become a very, very good player. But
he's going to be like an LDU sort of rise where it takes him a couple of years to really.
Oh, maybe. And plus, you look at Hawthorn's midfield now; they're quite young, so he'll get game time immediately, which is going to benefit him.
I mean, Elijah could even be up there for now Rising Star.
Yeah, well, and that's the other thing, who I think I know who the favourite would be at this current stage.
Yeah, whoever ends up at Hawthorn. Think of the opportunity.
Not necessarily Hawthorn, but I think there's a bloke at North Melbourne that'll give him a run for money. So yeah, I feel like this is just a no-brainer. We don't even have to go into why. So Elijah, how do you say this name?
Well, I assume it's Sartas.
We'll call him Sartas.
But I wouldn't bet the house on that being the correct pronunciation.
I don't care. That's what we're going to go with, Sartas. Now, number 8 was Geelong, yes?
Yeah, next pick Geelong, and I think there's one guy that it's.
There is one guy. He's from the Geelong Falcons.
Compared to Joel Selwood, or coincidentally, the last time they had a pick this high was Joel Selwood. It's just written in the stars, like it
Guy
is.
Clark.
It is perfect.
It is a perfect mix. Joel Selwood retires, and you replace him with his.
And you draft the next Joel Selwood. It's like
exactly right.
You ask for.
You can't tell me that they wouldn't do this. They are 100% going to do this. I don't think we need to debate this. Jai Clark, he will slip to Geelong's pick, and he'll get taken by Geelong. I don't really think there needs to be much more discussion on this.
Geelong guy, traits similar to Joel Selwood, leadership, midfielder.
So pick 9, or the team after Geelong
is West Coast.
West Coast now.
What's their midfield like nowadays?
It's a bit
like Shuey and Tim Kelly.
Yeah, you're right.
Jack Redden's still there. Well, he's getting on though in age.
No, Jack Redden's gone.
What happened to Jack Redden? Did he retire or they delist him?
Retired. Now,
okay. Shows you how much attention I've been paying the West Coast.
West Coast have a couple of needs, right? We know, and midfield is just screaming out. Gaff just isn't the player once he got rubbed out for.
Yeah, we don't need to mention what he did. It was horrible enough.
Assault. He just hasn't been that good. Shuey's injury prone. Sheed's injury prone.
What's their backline like?
They've still got McGovern and Barris, but at the moment, I think their biggest needs, in my opinion, are midfield and a forward. Like, they need a forward.
Oh, yeah. Kennedy retired.
But Kennedy's retired. We're not going to address the forward line yet because I don't really think any of the other forwards maybe warrant this pick. I'm going to go with a homegrown guy. East Perth.
Ruben Ginbey.
Compared to Elliot Yeo.
Well, they already got Elliot Yeo. 2 Elliot Yeos can't hurt.
Exactly right. He's good size, but I just think that his pressure around the ball is kind of what West Coast need. They weren't very good at creating pressure from their midfield. So I feel like Ruben Ginby is the guy for West Coast. Like, is that reasonable, or do you reckon
Well, that sounds like a good shout.
So
Don't really have to worry about the go home factor. Fits a knee.
Yep. So Ruben is going to the Eagles. Now, pick the team after them.
The next pick is St Kilda. Where do we start with St Kilda?
They have so many needs. I think at this point for them, it is just best player available. Now, all these guys here are taken if I'm... Yeah, I don't even know why I scroll.
Everyone above...
Everyone above this guy's been taken. It's just these guys. So, you feel like they need... Oh, geez, yeah, exactly. Where do you start for them? Like, their defense isn't very good. Their midfield is just shocking. I think for them, I reckon you get yourself, and this guy is a St Kilda Next Generation Academy prospect, Cam Mackenzie. You get your very own version of potentially Travis Boak, so possibly a future captain, maybe.
He's got defensive running, crafty.
Exactly right. So I think, and that's kind of what St Kilda don't have. They don't really have any crafty players. So not that I could think of, at least. They want Billings to do that, but he doesn't.
Don't they have Butler? Butler was pretty crafty in his first season there. Yep.
But Butler's a small forward. They don't have any crafty midfielders. They need... I just think that this makes a lot more sense for
Yeah, this is like the the Jai Clark pick, the pretty much homegrown lad.
Yeah.
In a spot they need.
Exactly right. So I feel like this is, and because of the Next Generation Academy rules, they can't match a bid. So
might as well pick him.
Exactly right. So Cam Mackenzie is a saint.
Next up, Carlton.
Well, I just feel like...
Do they add another midfielder, or do they...
I would say that they need another midfielder. Because, this is from where I sit. I think Walsh wasn't as productive this season as he was last season.
He was injured a bit this season, though.
But he was on the field, though.
Yeah, I know, but if he gets like the off-season, pre-season to get healthy, and then
they lost. They did lose a midfielder. I mean, I know he wasn't much, but they lost a midfielder. Kennedy broke out. He was their breakout player.
Kennedy at the start of the season was like their best player. Like Cripps was the one getting best on ground, but it was almost as if Kennedy wasn't there, Carlton weren't there.
Exactly right. And George Hewett was gone, which really stuffed up Carlton. When he was out, that stuffed them up so much. So I think you go with the guy whose name is exactly relation.
Another Hewett.
Another Hewett. From Patrick Cripps' territory, Swan Districts. So it's just... I just think that it makes a lot of sense. You pair him up, making housemates with Patrick Cripps, being a Swan Districts boy himself. I just think, it does make a fair bit of sense to go after a guy who, might add something different to their midfield. Like, their midfielders aren't really noted goal. I mean, Kennedy can kick goals, and Cripps this season, literally, this is his first season where he showed that he could be impactful up forward. So, and he's a bit more quicker than their other midfielders. Like, all their midfielders aren't quick. He would be their quickest midfielder. So I think this pick makes sense.
You don't think they could be a shout for Oliver Hollands?
No.
Or is this still a bit high for him?
I mean, let's see where...
He's 14.
14. Yeah, no, I think Elijah Hewett would be the guy here for Carlton. He just had something a bit different.
There you go. Sounds good.
Go with Elijah Hewett. Pick 12.
Next up, we have the Bulldogs.
Now.
They're kind of sorted in all the key position areas.
No, they're not. Their defence, they still need some defensive help.
Stick Sam Darcy down there.
Yeah, he sticks Sam Darcy down there, Liam Jones, but Liam Jones is a short-term option.
Oh, so you reckon that they're going to draft
Buslinger.
And develop him?
Yep.
Give him a bit like what they've done with Jamari Ugle-Hagan.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think this guy will go to the Dogs. I think, and it makes a bit of sense. You know, they do need some very they need some help down back. He has played in the Waffle this year, so he's just, yeah, I mean, he had shoulder surgery, which kind of hurt him a bit, but he's just like, he just goes about his business, and I just think that's all you need. So I think Jed Buslinger.
And they kind of negate the go-home factor a bit because they do have Tim English, who's from Western Australia.
And Aaron Norton.
Yeah, there you go. They've got a couple of
WA boys. So Jed Buslinger will know on draft night.
So we've got next pick, West Coast.
West Coast. Now,
so I'm taking. So they need to go like key forward, maybe even like a ruckman, yeah?
Where is he? I saw him. There he is. Replace Josh Kennedy with this guy. He kicked 7 goals against the WA under-18 side, 5 1/4. So they know what he's like. I just think it makes it. Now, obviously, he's going to need to put on a bit of size. So let's hope Jack Darling, for West Coast's sake, can hold up. I don't have any confidence in that whatsoever. You know, he's intelligent. His positioning, you know, throughout the years just improved, and he's got a very good lead. And plus, you know, at the moment, it adds something different to their forward line. So I think pick 13, they go with Matthew Jefferson.
No shout for Isaac Keeler?
No. I think Jefferson, he's got a fair few tricks about him.
Sounds good to me.
So Matthew Jefferson. Who's the next team?
Next is Melbourne.
Melbourne.
This is kind of a... Oh, wait, no, it's not really a match made in heaven because they went and got Grundy.
Yeah, I was going to say
they are Grundy. Both aging.
Sorry?
They are both aging.
They are both aging.
So they just go and replace Luke Jackson?
I feel like that's what they're going to do. I feel like Isaac Keeler is the player that, and look, he doesn't need to play straight away. He can wait a few years because of the Gone Grundy stuff. But I feel like, you know, this would be a good get for them.
And he could even sneak his way into the team because they lost Weedman. So all the games that Weedman would end up playing when there's like a key forward injury. Just give
exactly. So I feel like, I mean, this is just this is just to, I mean, as you said, you know, they lost Jackson, they lost Wiedemann. I feel like, you know, this is just, you know, they're looking a bit short and thin in the tall key position player department. So I feel like Isaac Keeler, if he is still on the board at this point,
a good get for them.
Well, they'd strongly consider him. Who's the next team?
I should probably actually memorize this. Sydney.
Sydney.
Runners
Right,
up, grand finalists.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see who we've got.
I think
so
everyone up there is already gone.
Yeah, so from like picks 13 down are done. Well, see, this is interesting. What do you do in this situation for Sydney? Like, they haven't got really many holes in that side. You know, could they look to go with?
Could this be like an Elwyn Davey bid spot?
I don't think so. I don't think they need a small forward at this point. Their small forwards are good enough at the moment. They generate enough pressure up there. Could they go with him? I mean, I know he's not necessarily a. I'm pretty sure the guy I'm thinking of is Ollie Hollands. I'm just making sure that that's who I am referring to. I feel like, yeah, no.
What's their ruck situation like? Other than
Yeah, look, they do. I don't think they need a ruckman at this point. I feel like, well, at this point, because they don't have many holes, they don't necessarily need to pick for a need. You know, it could be next best player for them. And the next best player on the board is Oliver Hollands. You know, that yes, they lost Kennedy. So this could not necessarily be a replacement, judging by, you know, his weight. He only weighs 71 kilos at the moment, which is very light. He's a two-way midfielder, so it kind of suits Sydney's way. You know, a lot of gut running from their mids.
I don't know. Because
So
he's a bit of a smaller mid. What about like a taller mid?
No, I
like,
feel.
Like a Henry Hustwaite or something.
Sorry?
What about like a Henry Hustwaite?
I feel like Hollands at this point for me, only because like it's just, look,
I mean, two-way midfielder, good below the knees, best 2K time trial, so he's got a tank.
He's got a tank, and I feel like that suits Sydney a lot. Not necessarily at the G, at the SCG. I mean, actually, no, that'd suit him well as well. Because, like, you know, smaller ground, you know, you're still doing a shit ton of running. So I feel like,
yeah, this is a good shout, I reckon.
Oliver Hollands. So that's all right. Now pick 16.
Next up, we have GWS again.
Now this is where they probably need to look at their, not their defense. I feel like they're a key defender down. You know, Sam Taylor can't do it all. So I feel like the next,
Himmelberg wasn't bad.
Himmelberg wasn't bad, but they need somebody else down there to help out old mate Sam Taylor, which is,
and that guy is Lewis Hayes, is it?
Lewis Hayes compared to Sam Taylor is.
You know what's better than one Sam Taylor?
Sorry?
You know what's better than one Sam Taylor?
Having two of them. And sorry, this was the Giants as well. So Lewis Hayes, sorry. Yeah, look, go home factor, but look, they can worry about that in a couple of years, you know, or pair him up with his mate Sam Taylor. Like, so yeah. I feel like this is and he's a lockdown defender, which you rarely see that anymore. So, Lewis Hayes to
the Giants.
The Giants now pick 17. Who's the one after? Collingwood. Now,
I did just trade away Grundy.
They did just trade away Grundy.
But they do have guys to play instead of Grundy, which is why they got rid of Grundy.
Yep. Now, Scotty Pendlebury's getting a bit out there. But to keep everybody honest,
Oh, what? What
keep-
makes you think they're going to bid for Fletcher?
I just feel like
Surely there's a bid for Davey before there's a bid for Fletcher. Settle down, mate.
no. No, I honestly don't think that. I'm being
Oh, the Essendon bias.
no. Well, Collingwood don't need a small forward at the moment because they've got Elliott and Duckman that just go around creating pressure. Yes, I said that. Come on, Collingwood fans, come at me. But I just feel like, it wouldn't hurt for them to get another midfield. Sidebottom's getting up there with age. Pendlebury's getting up there with age. I don't think those two don't have many more years left. Mitchell's an older type. It just makes sense for me that they go after a younger guy.
So they're going to put in a bid for Jasper Fletcher, you reckon?
They will put in a bid.
And then, what? They're going to go...
They will go with a midfielder.
So you reckon, what, like a Lachlan Cowan or like a Henry Hustwaite with that actual...
Henry Huss, hang on, where is he?
18.
Oh, he's the one up, yeah. I mean, exactly. He kind of does. He's about the similar size to Scotty Pendlebury, so it makes sense. You replace Scott Pendlebury with another one, just like Geelong, with Joel Selwood. And who was the other two?
He's apparently in Jordan Dawson.
Yeah, but like, who cares what they said? They think that who cares what these people think? I know they're helping us with like trying to get the players' names down, but who cares? But no, I just think that this makes sense for them. They need another midfielder because like Pendlebury's probably. He could play on forever, but he won't. Sidebottom's just declining in age.
Well, yeah.
Henry Hustwaite is their man.
He's the guy. He's him. He is him.
Yes, you got it. He is him. He is him. Now, the second last pick.
Sydney again.
Now, you could really just go, right, with...
So what did we take with Sydney just before?
Sorry?
What did we take with Sydney just before? Hollands, yeah?
Ollie Hollands. I feel like, this is interesting. Ruckman, this is where they could go with a Ruckman right now because Peter Laddens was a fail. Hickey up there with age.
Good, but...
Yeah, but I think at this point, again, this is the pick that they go with a need, and a Ruckman is a need for them for the future. Harry Barnett. Barnett.
Does it really matter?
No, it doesn't. So we'll go with Barnett. Sounds actually awkward. I think it's Barnett. No. We'll go Barnett.
Harry Barnett. Harry Barnett.
The Giants are pick 20, right?
Yes, they are. They have yet another pick.
So this is where they could go with, they don't necessarily need to go with a guy that, look, they did lose some midfielders, Popper and, why am I forgetting the name? Taranto, that's it. They lost that. You're going to kind of have to,
address that.
Sorry?
They're going to have to address that.
And, I know it says defender mid and, across half back, but, he's a good size. They could develop him to a mid. I think Lockie Cowan could go to the Giants.
And getting a Zach Williams type player back. Zach Williams wasn't exactly bad for them.
Exactly. He's a lot worse at Cohen than he was at the Giants. So I think Lockie Cohen or Lachlan Cohen, I shouldn't assume that he wants to be called Lockie.
Yeah, Gaz.
Shut up, Laz. That sounds so wrong. But yeah, so I feel like, well, that's the first round done. Whatever happens after that is a fucking mystery. Melbourne have the first pick in the next round 2, so that'll be interesting. But to go through it all, pick 1, we had Aaron CADMAN. Pick 2, we had Brisbane matching the bid for Will Ashcroft. Pick 3, Harry Chazelle. Pick 4, George Wardlaw. Pick 5, with Essendon, MATTAES Philippou.
That's our first out there pick.
Not really. He's
like in terms of like the ranking we're going off, right?
Yeah, but this was made in October, man.
Yeah, I know, but
Gold Coast. Now, this is probably the first out there pick. Bailey Humphrey. Hawthorn Elijah.
Sartas.
Thank you. Pick 8 with Geelong, Jai Clark. Pick 9 with West Coast, Ruben Ginby. St Kilda, Cam McKenzie. Carlton, Elijah Hewitt at pick 11. Pick 12 with the Bulldogs, Jed Buslinger or Buslinger, whatever you want to call him.
I mean, we're in for a rough draft night if all these pronunciations are so wrong.
I'll be looking at you. West Coast, pick 13.
Just because I had to go.
What?
Just because I had to go at pronouncing him instead of going, oh, you know what? I don't think I can.
Pick 14, Isaac Keller. Keller?
Isn't it Keeler? That's a double E in there, isn't it?
Yeah, so shut up. Pick 15, Oliver Hollands. Pick 16, Lewis Hayes. Pick 17, Brisbane match the bid for Jasper Fletcher.
Filthy about that. Absolutely filthy. I thought we got away with him.
You're not going to get away with it.
But yeah, we didn't put in a bid for Davey, so you've gotten away with it.
Hang on, though. Pick 18, Henry Husway.
Come on, mate. Just spit it out.
Pick 19, Sydney, Harry Barnett.
Pick one. Barnett or Barnett?
Barnett. No, Barnett.
Barnett. We're going with Barnett. That's
Barnett. And pick 20 is Lachlan Cohen. So that's the first round done. Now, the questions that still remain. When will the bid come for Alan Davey? Yeah, there is a strong chance that he doesn't get through some of those teams there. There's every chance. But there's also a strong chance that he does and gets past Essendon's second pick. There's every chance for that. And if that's the case, will the Bombers trade their second pick, which is pick, I think it'll be pick 24 at this point. At this point, because of the bids.
Yeah, it would be.
So if he survives past pick 24, it'd be a big win for the Bombers, quite clearly. However, if he doesn't, they're in a bit of strife. Because the ideal scenario for Essendon is that he slips past to the second round and a bit further down. He will get taken in the top 30. It's just a matter of when.
How late.
And how late. It could be one of North's second round picks. It could be. But then you've also got to look at it for Brisbane side view. They will be hoping that Jasper Fletcher gets through. In this one, we don't.
Honestly, I think Brisbane are happy with Ashcroft going anywhere lower than 1. And then anything after that is a bonus.
Which is obviously probably more than likely the case, the scenario that's going to happen, judging how much the Giants are salivating over CADMAN. So I feel like that was I feel like, we could be better this season than we were last season at predicting.
It's going to be funny. It's going to be funny if we have another Ben Hobbs situation. But I'm not sure how that's going to happen when you've got like pick 4.
it's what do you mean? How are you not
Well,
sure
because
that's
we
gonna
don't
happen?
get to sit around waiting for 12 picks as you go, oh, I hope this team takes Ben Hobbs. Please take Ben Hobbs so we don't.
Well, here's the thing though. Like, I'll be saying that when you get here. I will be saying that. I'll be like, I hope North pick up Wardlaw. I hope they do. I hope, and even if he slips to us, I hope we overlook him because of his injury history. Like, I can stop sharing now. Yeah. So
Seems like as good a time as any to wrap up our mock draft.
yeah, wrap up our mock draft. I feel like that's a yeah, as you said, a very good way to finish. Now this will be put up. When do you
Hopefully before the draft. Well,
and
let's
going
look at it. This is probably the easiest thing to edit. I just have to edit out us being our many attempts to actually start
send that to
recording.
Summit and he'll make a TikTok for it.
Why do we need to give it to Summit?
Because I don't know how to fucking do it. He'll add some cool features that I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, send it to him.
Why do I have to send it to him? You send it to him.
I fucking can't. If you send it to, if you, wait, what? How am I going to send it to him? Exactly. You
You're
didn't
not.
exactly, but you are.
Maybe.
I hope. I knew you were going to say maybe, so I was.
So we are gonna wrap up, or are we just gonna keep arguing like a married couple?
We'll do that once we've stopped. All right. So at the end of the day, I can see the look at your face. I'm not going to like what you're going to say to me. At the end of the day, this was our mock draft. We hope you enjoyed listening to us debate. Well, not necessarily debate, but like
Mostly agree. We were surprisingly agreeable today.
I know. Well, it was like that last one. It was like that last time, and I was a bit like, we need to debate a bit more. But
Well, I was a bit miffed when you put Fletcher getting bid on, but you know what?
you're going to give me the old fuck you.
Well, I wasn't
Oh.
going to do it while we were recording, but
Oh, I guess
fuck you.
I'm built different.
You is not him.
I am him.
You is
I
not
am him. I am him. Anyway, thank you all for listening. We hope to have this up and many more episodes that we've recorded but haven't put up.
Now I'm getting flamed again. Great. This is just brilliant. I've been Liam McDonald.
I'm Lachlan Turner. Catch you later.
Toodles.